Hello everyone and happy holidays! Welcome to another Little Free Libraries exploration. This time we are going to do it Christmas style. We are going to grab a festive drink from Starbucks and drive out to 9 Little Free Libraries. And a little spoiler, I actually found an extra one along the way, so that makes 10 Little Free Libraries, almost all of which I have never been to before. Before we go, I'll show you which books I'm going to take with me to use for trading and decluttering. Okay, so we've got 3 books here: The Mermaid Chair, The Orphan's Tale, and I Know This Much Is True. We got these from other Little Free Libraries and decided we didn't feel like reading them just because they weren't our style or topics we weren't in the mood to read at the time. So we are going to be recirculating them back into different Little Free Libraries for others to find. Next, I have 4 books from the Princess Diaries series, and I started reading the first one, but it definitely wasn't my style. I thought it was too teenagery, but when I was a teenager, I didn't worry about all of the stuff that Mia, the main character, was worrying about. I remember loving the movies that Disney made when I was a kid, and I watched them so many times in the theaters when they came out, so I think they will make a good find for someone else. These 4, Stardust and Shadows, Seasons of Her Life, Hidden Talents, and Priceless, are some romance books that were given to my mom that she didn't really choose, so we are going to donate those to our adventure. Up here we have a hot sauce cookbook. Let me know your favorite hot sauce brand in the comments. Mine is definitely Valentina for Mexican food and Sriracha for Asian food. My mom read Daughter of the Stars, which is one that we picked up in a previous Little Free Library haul. It's by an author that she likes, and she said this one was a later one she wrote and not as good as her earlier books, but she said it was alright. Then we have Joyce Meyer, Approval Addiction, which both my mom and I jokingly agreed that we have the opposite problem, but we thought it would be a good one to add to a new Little Free Library that popped up outside of the Catholic Church. They mainly include religious and self-help books there. Last, I have a couple of reading magazines to include as well. So with that, let's bundle up, grab our cozy festive drinks, and let's go Little Free Library exploring. Jose is driving me and my mom around. He got a matcha latte with toffee nut, and my mom and I ordered white chocolate peppermint mochas. What's your drink of choice from Starbucks? Here we are arriving at the first stop, and nothing like some nice, precarious, icy stairs to climb. It's already nightfall, and we're hoping to see some Christmas lights along the way. This is looking pretty well stocked. It looks like more adult books on the top and kids books on the bottom. I'll flip through these quickly so you can kind of see what's inside, but if you need a closer look or more time to read titles and authors, I invite you to pause the video at any time. The one I'm grabbing here is a part of a series. It's a historical fiction of sorts about Beatrix Potter. It takes history and facts from her life, but it puts it in a setting where she, along with her cute critters, solve mysteries within their otherwise sleepy town. Now, we have some from the series already, and I can't remember which ones, so I'm gonna grab it, and if it's a duplicate, I'll recirculate it back into the Little Free Libraries later. Another great find, if I didn't already have it, is the 4th Harry Potter book. To trade, we are going to add in Daughter of the Stars, as well as some cat food my cats don't like, and a candy cane. On to the next location. The selection in this one is looking a little bit random, but it looks like they have a Christmas-themed book. I didn't take any from this one, but we reorganized it a little bit, added a cat food and some candies, and we are donating the magazines and the hot sauce cookbook. Next up, we've got this cute little free library that is the same color and has a matching roof of the house that it belongs to. From the left side, we are going to take this book called A Gentleman in Moscow, and on the right side, we have some magazines and a few more books. Some of these I think my dad will like, so we are going to grab those for him. We are taking The Winds of War, The Grave Maurice, and The Sum of All Fears, donating some cat food and candy. Then going back to the left side, I'm going to wedge in the Princess Diary books in exchange. As we approach our next little free library not too far away, look at how fun the design is. It's like a little castle. This one you can tell is definitely geared towards children, and by the way, sorry about some of the filming job I did. It was tough because it was dark, slippery, and it was at least 20 degrees Fahrenheit, so I did my best. Some cool ones I saw in there was some Christmas books, some Nancy Drew, and it even had some art supplies for kids to take. It was pretty full. We didn't take any, but we donated cat food and candy. At this point, we were ready to go home and warm up, so we enjoyed some Christmas lights on the way home, and we will resume tomorrow. Good morning, we're back at it again. So the first little free library of the day was packed tight with books. I rummaged through and found the books I wanted to take before I filmed through the rest, just so I could take them out and have some extra room to flip through. So I'm taking Ahab's Wife, which apparently is to do with Moby Dick. Also grabbing this book, The 13th Paladin, Father of the Mountain, because let's face it, it looks pretty cool. Now I'll just do my best to zoom in on some of the titles so you can see what's in there. I'm adding in the Beatrix Potter book I grabbed last night because it turns out I did have this one already. Then after I futilely tried to resituate the books with one hand, I also added in Stardust and Shadows. Then just down the street, there's another little free library, and this one has a sign on it that says Grandpa Harry's Little Library. Love it. So looking inside, I see there's a good stack of Food Network magazines. And then there was also a stack of these kind of non-fiction books about animals for kids. So to take, I am grabbing The Whistler and The Last Juror, as well as another cool-looking book, Adventurers Wanted, The Axe of Sundering. To trade for these, I will donate Seasons of Her Life and The Orphan's Tale. This little free library, I think, might not be enjoying this winter weather. I think it's probably seen better days. It's got some Where's Waldo on the side, some book clippings, but yeah, poor thing. and his door is hanging on by just a thread. But on the plus side, it looks very well stocked. This one was another tough one to film since I had to use my noggin to keep the door open, but I do my best to get close to some of those book titles so you can pause and read what's inside. I'm taking home Dreamtown, The Maze Runner, and 2 books from the series of Unfortunate Events, in exchange for I Know This Much Is True, as well as The Mermaid Chair and some candy canes. Nailed it. As you can see, this whole experience has been quite the adventure, ice slips and all. So once I climbed myself up to this little free library, I saw right away some authors I know my mom likes. But first, let's flip through all of them. I'm taking The McGregors, Someone in the House, Wings, Sisters of the Glass Fairy, and Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. I'm leaving behind the book Priceless, Hidden Talents, and More Candies. Now, I just had 1 book left that I was going to take to the Catholic Church Little Free Library, but on the way, I found a new one that popped up right within the normal circuit my mom and I usually make, and it's such a big one too. So even though I didn't have any books left to trade with for now, my mom and I are going to start loading it up with extra books the next time we go. I already have it, but I was excited to see one of the Anne of Green Gable books inside here. Then these 2 on the end are the ones I will be taking, Help the Poor Struggler and The Golden Cross. Now just a quick flip through on the bottom shelf. And now finally for the last little free library. Not taking anything, but just adding in the Joyce Meyer book. Now let's go home, warm up, and I'll show you a more in-depth haul of everything we grabbed. We usually read about the books we grab and decide whether or not we want to read them for sure. Sometimes we decide against reading them for a variety of reasons, such as it being a duplicate in our home library. If anyone knows about the recent current events in my location, you will understand when I say we've been more apt to enjoy lighthearted reads lately. None of us have really been in the mood to read anything depressing or overly serious. Last but not least, let me know in the comment section if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. It looks kind of creepy, but I've heard The Maze Runner is similar to the Hunger Games and the Divergent series, which I loved both of those. So I'll be giving this one a try, but probably not anytime soon. I remember the Lemony Snicket books being super popular when I was in older elementary school, but I haven't read any of them. Jose said he used to love them when he was in grade school as well, so this is the 10th and 11th in the series. I will definitely work on collecting or locating the first one so we can start the series. This was a good find for my mom because she's been collecting the McGregors, and this one she didn't have yet. We've got The Golden Cross by Angela Elwell Hunt, which is book 2 of a series. It's apparently a Christian fiction, and my mom said that she is interested in both the series and some of the others that the author has also written. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have Ahab's Wife, which as far as I know, it's about or like a continuation of Moby Dick. It's probably a good book, but we decided against it for now because it has some serious topics in it and we just aren't feeling up for reading that. A Gentleman in Moscow is actually one that my mom has been looking for on her wish list, so that was cool that we found it in the Little Free Libraries. Dreamtown is book 3 of a trilogy, so we will need to hunt down book 1 for this. I grabbed 2 books by Martha Grimes, The Grave Maurice, and Help the Poor Struggler. We decided that we will recirculate these ones back into different Little Free Libraries because they are part of a really large series that is probably a little bit too gritty for us. And then same thing with the 2 Josh Grisham books. Last Juror is a part of a really long series that we don't want to embark on, and the reviews of The Whistler weren't very good, so we decided not to try those. So this Father of the Mountain is the 8th book out of 11 books in the 13th Paladin series, and apparently this was translated from German by a German author. It looks to have good ratings overall, so we need to locate book 1 to be able to start reading that. Same deal with The Axe of Sundering. It is a young adult fantasy, and it is the last book in a 5-part series. The Sisters of Glass Fairy is a mystery that takes place in Kentucky in the 1950s. Mom thought it looked interesting, so we are going to give it a try. Then we've got The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, and it is the first book in a 3-part series by Rebecca Wells. Danielle Steele is another author my mom collects, and Wings is one she didn't have yet, so another good find for her. Someone in the House by Barbara Michaels is a Gothic-style book, and it is the first book in a set of 2. Then the last 2 books, we have Tom Clancy, The Sum of All Fears. We grabbed this one for my dad to read, and finally The Winds of War, which actually has already been read by both of my parents, so we will recirculate it back into our next Little Libraries unhaul. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this Christmassy Little Free Libraries exploration. I hope you enjoyed it. This is going to be my last video before Christmas, so I hope you all have a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time. Bye.